Have you ever stopped to think about what goes through someone's mind in those final seconds before doing something there's no coming back from? I'm not talking about courage. Courage is when you still have time to think. I'm talking about that split second when the body moves before the mind because love already made the choice for you. That's exactly what happens with Jean Grey in X-Men 2. And if you watched this scene and didn't feel a tightness in your chest, I need you to go back and watch it again. Because what happens there isn't just special effects. It's one of the most silently devastating farewells cinema has ever put on screen. Let me put you right inside the moment. The X-Men are cornered. The dam at Alkali Lake is giving way. Tons of water about to swallow everything. The jet, the team, everyone. The Blackbird won't start, the systems have failed, and there in that cramped cockpit, with time slipping through their fingers, everyone knows it's over. But Jean Grey looks around and sees something else. She doesn't see the end, she sees the people she loves. And in that second, something shifts in her eyes. It's not despair, it's clarity, a terrifying clarity, the kind that only shows up when someone accepts the weight of a choice nobody asked them to make. She steps out of the jet, alone. No warning, no dramatic speech, no asking for permission. And that's where it hurts. Because Scott realizes too late. And when her voice enters his mind, telepathic, gentle, almost a whisper, what she says isn't some elaborate goodbye, it's just the raw truth. Scott, I love you. Close your eyes for a second and imagine hearing that. The voice of the person you love most in this world, slipping straight into your thoughts, and you know with every cell in your body that it's the last time. As the water surges forward like a living wall, Jean holds it back with everything she's got, every fiber of her power against the force of nature, and the jet rises, the team escapes, and she stays behind. What makes this scene so brutal isn't the action, it's the silence afterward. It's Wolverine's face, it's Scott crumbling without making a sound. It's Professor Xavier closing his eyes like a man who just lost a daughter. Nobody screams, nobody explodes in rage. The grief creeps in softly, like water rising slowly, and by the time you notice, you're already underwater. Bryan Singer understood something that a lot of superhero directors forget. Real sacrifice doesn't need an explosion, it needs weight. It needs consequence. It needs to hurt the ones who stay behind. And what Jean Grey did there redefined the meaning of heroism within that universe. She didn't defeat a villain. She didn't save the planet. She saved the people she loved, one by one, with no guarantee she'd ever be remembered for it. You know what gets me every time I rewatch it? She smiles. In the middle of all that destruction, with water roaring around her, there's a faint smile on her face, as if for the first time she was at peace with the size of her own power, as if dying for the right people was the one choice that never needed an explanation. And maybe that's why, even after all these years, this scene still hits so hard. Because deep down, everyone has asked themselves, would I have that kind of courage? If the world were falling apart and the people I love were on the other side of that door, could I let go of my own hand? Jean didn't think twice. Now tell me something. If her power came back in those waters, if something woke up at the bottom of that lake, would it still be the Jean we knew, or would something entirely different have been born from that sacrifice?